Hello, everybody. My apologies for the slight delay. My camera fell apart in my hands as I was ready to go here. So nice to see everybody. We're going to pull cards tonight. Who in the crowd is watching Lindsay Clancy? Tell me where you're coming in from. And if you're very interested in Nancy Guthrie, which assuming you are, because you wouldn't be here otherwise, you're going to want to see tomorrow's video. Okay, let me pull cards. Let's start pulling cards. Who's in the house? Blue Rose, welcome in, my dear. Gloria Rodriguez, welcome in. Judy Wendell, hello, my dear. Some of you ladies, I remember. Deanna, hello, my dear. Deanna, are you tired after that today? Sharon, South Carolina, just saw somewhere that the defense is asking. Yes, they did, honey. Did you? They did. It was. I was listening to Peter Tragos. His thumbnail said absolutely ridiculous. They did, and if you want to join us tomorrow, we're gonna review that and listen to opinions. We're going to be streaming here as we have been all weekend last week for Lindsay Clancy. Just a tad, eh? You little tad tired. Was a wild day in court. Just wild. But let's get into Nancy Guthrie. What I'm going to do tonight, we have a members live, if you're not aware, at 7:30 going on, assuming anybody shows up. We are learning how to remote view in that. It's $2.99 a month Canadian, $2.15 in euros, and $1.99 in USD. So at 7:30, I'm moving over to members. Coming in from Parma, Ohio. Welcome in, my dear. What's the weather like in Parma? Nice to see everybody, even the people in the bushes. So just letting you know about that now. And what we're going to do is we're going to review some shocking information you may have seen last night. Let me know below if too many of you have seen it and you don't want to watch the whole thing. But wow. I have 4 videos today I want to pull cards on, okay? Based on some new reporting in the Nancy Guthrie case. And last night, wowza. Did anybody else catch this live last night? Anybody catch this? Hello, Aquarius. Are you tired, honey? You must be tired. Yeah, this, pull your cards out. Miss Sarah, honey, I got your email. Thank you, sweetie. I'm so happy to hear from you. I just have not had a chance to get back to anybody yet. I even have somebody wanting me to do a promo video. I even haven't had time to get back to them yet. I'm so sorry. So happy to hear from you, Miss Sarah. Yeah, so we're going to watch this. We're going to pull cards on this. And we're going to do this tonight for as long as we can till 7:30. So I'm just going to go, let you watch, pull cards, go. And okay, Carolina. Yeah, I'm tired too, honey. I kind of pumped though. Did you hear Peter Tragos went live right after? He just wrapped up before I went live here. He was like, he's appalled. Anyways, okay, let's change the view. And then I'll enlarge it so that you can see the cards very clearly when I stop. I got to move my laptop back and forth here. This is going to blow your mind. I'm going to fast forward through the parts because it's a live that, we don't need to listen to the whole thing. But this is from Anne and Todd, who I had talked to and met with, Voices for the Missing. Or is it Voices for the Missing, Anne here and Todd. We had talked and they had gone looking in one of the places that I thought Nancy might be. We met off camera, and I don't think they just didn't get the feeling. We didn't really reconnect again because I really don't think they got the feeling that I was correct in my location. And I've said before, my strong suit is not location. You know, my strong suit is not location. And so that's why I started the members only help me locate Nancy with remote viewing. So I know, honey. Actually, you know what, Judy? I didn't even end up going because it started raining, my dear. It started raining here, but that's okay. I sat outside. Okay, honey. Yeah, so let's watch wild stuff they found yesterday. I'm going to fast forward it a bit, but maybe not that fast. Just for fair use. Let's go.
And I said, hey, keep this for documentation for later on. And then, of course, a day or two later, I had the guy that does deliver to A&T's house had a piece of mail for them.
So Todd said, I took a picture. Todd's a delivery man in Tucson, Arizona. And he noticed, I might have fast forwarded a little bit too far. Let's go back a bit. I want you to understand what...
Good. Yeah, you heard our cat. Yeah. Okay, so Todd, I'm going to let you begin.
Okay, guys. So,
hi, sweetie. Tabitha.
All right, so everybody knows my professional job on the mail carrier here in Tucson. So I see a lot of things coming through the mail system that, of course, if you guys would watch some of the other streams, we did go by A&T's house at one time, and I stopped and I saw one of our mail carriers that I deliver some mail into the mailbox at A&T's house. Okay. If you guys did watch that stream, you do know that I work with the post office, and there's a lot of mail that comes through the post office for certain people. And I just noticed that I had a piece of mail in my tray that day for A&T's house. I took a picture of it. I sent it to Ann, and I said, hey, keep this for documentation for later on. And then, of course, a day or two later, I had the guy that does deliver to A&T's house had a piece of mail for them. I took a picture of that piece of mail, and I was wondering, So we're going to show you guys these two images, okay? Ann's going to add it to the stage here. We're going to show you the two pieces of mail that did come through.
Okay. Well, first we'll show them this.
And I'm going to show you the piece of mail that came through that I had in my mail tray. It was missorted in my mail tray. So I took a picture. I was like, wait a second, this is for A&T's house. Mm-hmm. This doesn't belong to my route, but it belonged to somebody else's route, and it was in my mail tray. So if Ann can you guys actually see that?
If not, you can do your magic.
Yeah, I can try to zoom into it. Just let us know if you guys can actually see that or not. Now, I took that piece of mail out of my mail tray and I stuck it on my lap and took a picture of it. Okay. Now, this one has to do with, what was it, stocks and bonds of some sort? I think it may be like a settlement claim of some sort.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's like a settlement claim for stocks and bonds. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I just took a picture of it. I wasn't sure exactly what it was. So I just sent it to Anna and said, oh.
Okay. I don't want to debate whether he should be looking at their mail and taking pictures of their mail. I'm not here to judge that. But let's just see what the cards say. Because, boy, it gets interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, it gets super interesting, especially if we have time to watch the 4 videos. That's why I'm just going right into cards. Okay, so he says that this mail has to do with stocks and bonds. And if we look at it carefully, let me just remove myself completely. Okay, 3 of Swords. Okay, sweetie, you guys keep pulling. I will not be able to pull this up because I will be shuffling, but feel free to pull up what you're getting. I want to know if this is stocks and securities, and I don't know. I don't know what else it could be. A settlement. I mean, it's not really our business. Work just flipped over, but oh, sorry, I forgot to change the screen. I don't do sloppy shuffles, the ones that fall out of my hand. I do the ones that, like those, I don't take. I do the flippers. So, wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. Oh, blackmail. Did the best you can. It's top secret. Collapse. Interesting. Anybody else? Chariot, 10 of Wands. Carolina, you're driving? Are you pulling, or you're still pulling cards? Or she said she'd be right back. OMG. Oh my F. January. Something in January. Wow. Okay. Being paid off. Secret trip. Collapse. Well, these are specific. This one's a specific. This is the Reckoning. She's got a channel. She's great. I forget her name right now. So sorry, my dear. I'm so sorry. So yeah. So if we have a true crime deck, for sure you're gonna get, I'm gonna pull tarot too, don't you worry. Blackmail, paid off, collapse, secret trip. About an older woman. Well, her birthday was in January, and there's debate on whether or not she made it home on January 31st. Wow. Okay, let's get a little bit more on what this mail is about. Get a clarifier on the blackmail paid off. Blackmail paid off. OMG. Her name is Ashley. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Her name is Ashley. The channel is The Reckoning. She's absolutely amazing. This is her deck. Thank you, honey. Whoops, let me sorry, I can't get it to get clear enough. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. Yeah, her name is Ashley. Stability. Blackmail paid off, and I asked for clarifications. Family. This is the family card. This is also the buy a home card. This is also the buy a house card. Interesting. What was the collapse? Let's get a clarifier around the collapse. Let's get a clarifier around the collapse. Young energy, wands. Give me more around the collapse. One of Wands, Ace of Wands, Ace of Wands. Older women collapse about buying a house, some sort of blackmail, January, a young, new, inspiring, energetic person or idea, something collapsed. You get TNA as the lovers. Anybody else pulling cards? Illusions, deception, Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords. Some communication, clear communication around deception, something that collapsed. There might have been a betrayal. That's the lawsuit piece of it. It says settlement, right? Around an older woman and something in January. Well, this is really interesting because let's keep watching because it gets way more interesting.
They are delivering mail, and they're getting mail. Yes. I can do whatever I want to do because I'm a mail carrier. I can do what I need to do. Okay, so with that being said, I took a picture of this, okay? Now, there was another piece of mail that came through the mail system. Okay. And I was shown this piece of mail from the mail carrier. He said, okay, yeah, I am delivering mail, but this is what came through. So that piece of mail came through, and then like a day or two later, this piece of mail came through. Now, this, of course, you should already know what the address of A&T's house is, okay? Most of us know because we've been putting it out on a lot of streams that this is where their house is at, okay? Now, this piece of mail came through, okay? Now, if you look at the name on it, it is that person's name on there, okay? I don't know who that person is, all right, first of all. And then I looked up here in the right, up over on the left-hand corner of the mail item. I didn't take a picture of it, but I know who it's from, okay? It's from Arizona ACP.
Oops.
Yeah, well, you can report me as a federal offense. It's not a federal offense. I can tell you that right now. A federal offense is by taking mail. No, that's not it. That's not the page. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to find what the learn more about is. No, not that.
Like I said, I got to fast forward through the moments where we're just talking.
We're on the left-hand side. Explain that peas in a pod. We can take pictures of whatever we want to take pictures of, because we are mail carriers and we are not held. Over on the left-hand side, that label deals with domestic abuse, sexual abuse, and stalking. Okay. I can't find it on here now on the website, but when I did look it up, that's what it has to deal with. It has to deal with sexual abuse, domestic abuse, and stalking. Now, the person that's labeled on the, where is your StreamYard at here? Okay. So the person that's labeled on here, I don't know who that is. Who is the person? No, I can't even find out if I did it.
Okay, so it occurred to me that perhaps with cards, this was a piece of mail that shouldn't have gone there. So let's just see, did this mail belong there? And if so, who is this person? Well, Jules, they're going to show the return address. They're going to show in a little bit the logo. They go through to find it, and they're going to show us where it is soon. So let's just hang out there. We're going to hang out here where they're going to show us. And it is what he said. There is an attachment to whoever sent it deals and counsels and helps support people to support people who are victims of bullying, stalking. Are they being stalked is a very appropriate question in this case. Are there crazies out there who are upset like we are, rightfully so, about Nancy Guthrie being missing? But is there a crazy person? Because the logo comes from, and he's going to show us in a little bit, they're going to show us in a bit, is an organization that helps women, I believe it's just women, who are stalked, abused, and threatened, and the victims of abuse. Wow. We've got hired. Seems like the mail might be intended for her. Hired cult. Routine habit. That feels very stalky-like. I'm just saying. I'm going to get my pendulum in a minute. I'm going to pull more cards. But this feels, I don't know, feels to me a little stalky-like. That's the energy I got right away. But then, I also want to let you know that the video that I did, that's coming out tomorrow. It's already on my page. it's okay. So what I did is I kind of lost it on Savannah when she came out, which triggered me in her last statement at the 6-month mark. And I pulled cards to try to be objective about my initial impression about that statement. And the cards suggest, I'm going to just let you know, you can watch it tomorrow, that A might have been in an abusive situation. Just leaving it there for you. Okay. It didn't fall out, but it sure tried to flip over. Foreign people abroad. Foreign people is what I'm thinking with aliens. We're definitely not dealing with real aliens in this case. People, foreign people, routine, habit, cult. Let's just get one more or two more clarifiers. Those two flipped over. Healing, recovery, alignment, government, treason. Interesting. Y'all, anybody else pulling cards? This has got me stumped. I need clarifiers now. So that logo, my question was this intended for A? Seems like it's legit mail. Seems to me like this is saying it's legit mail. Sorry, sweetie. I just seen this now. Yeah. Okay. Was this mail intended for AG? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Was this mail intended for AG? Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. What? So there's a deliberate false name put on the mail. Yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. What? Okay. I'm shocked. Okay. I'm shocked. However, you're going to hear some more weird things. We're going to keep moving along because I have a lot to let you watch tonight. We're not getting through 4 videos. I can see that now already. So I'm going to keep moving forward.
Okay. Now, we do have some more information for you. You're not typing anything. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know who that person is. I have also talked to a few other people, and I said, have you ever seen any other mail coming through the system with that name on it for that address? And they said no. All right. So whoever that person is a name that is of concern right now. Okay. Now, we do have some other information we'd like to talk to you guys about. We went and did a little searching on white pages. Okay. Anybody can do a search on whitepages.com. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you can go to whitepages.com and you can look up anybody's address and find out who the owner of the house is. Okay. So we went to on White Pages and we looked up and seen who lives at 925. And Anne's going to share that screen with you here.
What screen?
Okay, so you're going to have to add it to the stage.
So, right, the Arizona Crime Prevention.
I can't remember. It might be Arizona Crime Prevention, but it was it was labeled from out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, so
well, anyway, so now I was like, okay, so it started getting my curiosity going, so I started searching to see who this person was, right? And then I was like, oh, wait a second, here's the White Pages. So let me look up at the white pages and see who owns that house, right? So I went to the white pages and started searching to find out who owns the house, right? So let me add this real quick. Right here. Okay, so this is, I went on to
I'm muted. Sorry. In this moment, my apologies. I think he forgets in this moment what this acronym on the return part of the label to this woman who is not AG to their home address. He forgets what the acronym is exactly, what it stands for, but he does bring it up a little bit later if we can get that far in this video.
whitepages.com and I looked up their address, right? So let me share this to the stage here. Okay, so as you guys are looking here, you guys can see that the address is 925 West Tenero Street for the white pages, right?
Go step up to their channel if you're not already, please.
Scroll down the page of it. You can find out who the owner of the house is. Which if I go and I click, where is that? Right here, owners and residents, okay? So I can click on that, right? And it comes up and it tells me who the owner of the house is, right here. Can you guys see that, or do I need to zoom in a little bit better so you guys can actually see that? Here, I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit better so you guys can see this. So let me know when you guys see.
I'm going to fast forward through this. Does everybody see he's proven a point that we can see that AG owns the house? Now take note of the middle name, please. A for Anne, P for Pierce, Guthrie owns this house. Now keep watching. We're going to pull cards because this is what you would expect.
Can you see the chat? I can't see the chat here. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I can see it. Okay, so I zoomed in. Okay, so you guys can actually see. Uh-oh. What'd you do? Can you guys see who the owner of the?
Where on the internet?
Click on that. Bam. Who is this guy? Okay,
so it does.
So now I fast forwarded. He moves to show us the owner of Nancy Guthrie's home. Who wants to guess the name that's going to pop up over who currently owns Nancy Guthrie's home? Anybody want to guess? I guarantee it's not going to be a name you're thinking about.
It does show up. Okay, so now we're at Nancy's address, right? You guys can see this. 5820 North Camino Escalante. Now this brings question.
Yes, ma'am.
We can go find out who the owner and the residents of the house is, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I click on that. Bam. Who is this guy?
Pierce. Remember I said pay attention to Pierce?
When I saw this, I was like, what in the world? This guy's been dead since 1986, guys. And this is Nancy's father.
Mm-hmm. Nancy's dad. Yep.
Where's Nancy? I thought she was the owner of the house.
And
now here's what's interesting. In my members section, I have a video because titled, "Why Was Nancy's Home in a Trust Account?" In fact, it was in the trust of Nancy Guthrie. And this was searched and shown to us and proven to us by an attorney shortly after Nancy Guthrie passed, went missing. So shortly after Nancy went missing, an attorney researched the title of the home, and it was in the estate of Nancy Guthrie, which is super important. And that video is in my members only if you want to watch it. Now, why is that important, you ask? Well, because Liane here, yours truly, spent 25 years in real estate. And you can't just change the title on a house without a legal authority allowing you to. Let's listen to what Todd says. Actually, no. Let's do it this way. I'm going to pull cards. Tell me what you think is going on. So that means bingo, bingo, Gloria. A legal authority. I don't know. I'm assuming it's Arizona law. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to watch as much of it. I don't even remember how much more they've got that we get to until it's no longer relevant. I don't remember what else there is. I don't think there's much more to go. But you don't have to stay here. No, you definitely don't have to stay here. You can come back later because I have 3 videos, as I said, lined up for tonight. So let's see what the cards say on why. Pull up Ashley's. Why title was changed. Let me just get the screen set for myself to see. Why was title changed? Wow. Okay. Why was the title changed? I mean, those are opposing forces. That's opposing forces. We got light and dark. So that is, that's very interesting. That feels like light's blocking dark. Let's get a clarifier on that. Let me move these over here. Her deceased dad. Yeah, Sharon, you got it. Wild, eh? I don't know, y'all. I want to know. Tell me if you think this is connected to Kalala. And boy, oh boy, do I feel it's connected to the reading that I have going out tomorrow. Just saying. That was going to flip, but it didn't. This to me seems like opposing forces. Let's get a clarifier, please, on you're guessing maybe the feds changed the name on title so no one can sell it. Bingo. Bingo, bingo, bingo. I think you're right. Makes the most logical sense. And that's what Todd says coming into the next comment section of their video. Yes, the stars shedding a light on a slow-moving plan, slow-moving plan. Boy, get another couple of cards. What is this? Who was responsible for this? Inspired energy. Who's responsible, and what's the point here of this change in ownership on title? Whoa, come on. It's that exposed card. The exposed. It's a warning. Is it a warning? Is it a warning to somebody? Upheaval. Displacement. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. What do y'all think it is? Anybody? I think the feds. Okay, let's go watch. Let's see. I'm just going to fast forward because I can't remember. Oh, yes. This is where he finds the label and what it stands for. Let's just listen to this for a second. And
so now we know it's address confidentially. What is it? Confidential?
Okay, so
Or you can tell them.
Address Confidentiality Program.
There you go.
So, the Arizona Address Confidentiality Program is a program that helps victims of domestic violence, sex offenses, and/or stalking from being located by the perpetrator through public records. The program provides a substitute address and confidential mail forwarding services to individuals and families across Arizona. How the program works: participants enrolled in the program use the substitute address instead of their real address. The substitute address is to be used instead of a person's home, work, or school address. State and local government agency must accept the substitute address issued by the ACP, Secretary of State's office. The ACP.
Hang on a second. Could it be Annie was helping somebody who was abused? Well, this is what I really like. I'm getting my energy, my head spinning. There's energy coming in. Like, this is actually really important to the case, I think. Because like my head, like I don't know, anybody else feeling like there's something here? Something? Is my head spinning?
He accepts all first class registered, certified, and election mail for the participants and forwards to her his real address at no cost.
Okay, stop for a second. When she says this is issued by the ACP, the Secretary of State's office. See that? Secretary of State's office, okay? So now if you go and if we actually shared something about the Secretary of State's office, who's in charge of it? Who's the Secretary of State of Arizona?
Okay, well.
Okay. So if she showed that here for you guys, who's the Secretary of State of Arizona? Let's see if we can add that to the stage here. So let's go ahead and remove this real quick.
That one,
and then we'll go and type in up here.
Hold on.
Google search. And this guy is in charge of that program that we showed you about. We looked at it.
Okay, I think that's the most important stuff on their video. What do y'all think? Let's pull up the next video. What do y'all think?
On the Nancy Guthrie case to bring her home and to bring justice to those who harmed her.
All right. Okay. So I had mentioned last week that I was going to talk about Lindsay Clancy. I think I'm going to hold off on that for now. I watched a little bit of the trial this past week. There's just so much to cover, and it's a very sensitive topic. So I think I'm going to hold off on Lindsay Clancy for now. There just seems to be so many polar opposite, opinions about it. And I think I want to learn more about the case before I make any comments on it. So, with that said, welcome back, everybody. Today, what I am going to talk about is.
Honestly, I truly think there's something related here to the case and Kalila. I really do. Oh, I guess there is. Okay. I got into that before parents drop their unruly kids that they can't handle anymore.
Going to be a response to Monk's Intrigues video from a few days ago. So I'm recording this on August 23rd. It's called Exploring A&T's Money Issues and Why They Didn't Live with Nancy. So Monk's in the video, and I'm sure you guys have all watched it, but he's talking about basically questioning, how was it that A&T were able to afford this home that was a few miles from Nancy's, that $650,000 home. And Monks is also coming up with kind of an estimated income for the couple. So it's a really interesting video. I suggest you go watch it if you haven't. But like I said, in the video, he's asking, how is it that A&T can afford this $650,000 home, the mortgage, everything that comes with it? So, monks, I think I found the answer. Stay with me, okay? So, after I watched that video, I started kind of digging around because I've never really looked into the property records related to this case or any of the people involved. And when I say involved, I mean people that are being named as family members, not necessarily involved in any way in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. And before I kind of get into it a little bit more, I just want to say that I am not alleging in any way that A or T had anything to do with this or they did anything wrong. So what we're doing is we're just going to look at some numbers, and there could be completely normal explanations for everything that I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to start off by letting you guys know that all of this information is publicly available information. We're going to start off with Nancy's home, okay? We've all seen Nancy's home in media reports, in YouTubers' videos, people have driven by. We all know what Nancy's home looks like. So I learned that the estimated value of Nancy's home is between $1 million to $1.2 million. A lot of us already knew this information also, right? So the report that I found, it lists an estimated available equity at just over $1 million. And it also lists a loan to value ratio of just 12%. So I'm not a real estate expert. Maybe real estate experts can chime in the comments. Basically, what the database was estimating is that the debt secured by the property represented only a small portion of the home's value. So, in other words, Nancy's home was worth a lot more than what she owed on it. And that left her with about $1 million in estimated home equity, according to this particular database, which is the Pima County's recorder or records database. So, what I also learned, I mean, I know a little bit about real estate, but I'm not like an expert by any means. I learned that having $1 million in equity doesn't mean that Nancy had $1 million in her bank account. So, equity is just the difference between what the property is worth and what's owed against it. And in the database, there was also a part that, a section, it's called estimated lendable equity, and that was $808,000. And this doesn't mean that Nancy borrowed $808,000. It just means that the database estimated that based on the property's value and debt, a substantial amount of equity could have supported additional borrowing. So basically, she had a lot of equity in this home. All right, moving on. Now we're going to talk about A&T's property. So what I learned from kind of digging around into property records with Pima County is that in March of 2025, that's when A&T purchased that home on Ternero Street. Not going to give the address because, we don't want to put people's personal information. A lot of people know where they live, but I'm not going to mention the numbers on this channel. So again, in March of 2025,
interesting,
A&T
right?
purchased the West Ternero Street home. A few months later, in May 2025, T signs over a special power of attorney regarding the Niagara home. So he signs over power of attorney to A over their old home, basically. And then I found that in June of 2025, the Niagara home, the old home, is conveyed over to the new owner. So basically, they sell their home.
Yeah. So far, there's literally nothing out of the ordinary in this. And we'll pull cards in a minute, but there's nothing unusual having been in real estate and won international sales awards and coached realtors around all the United States and all of Canada throughout North America. There is literally, up until this point, nothing unusual except for the title of Nancy Guthrie's home has reverted back to her father at the moment.
Now, fast forward 6 months to January 30th.
Hey, Aquarius.
There is a
Carolina, you got to pull cards, honey?
Home. This is the Ternero home.
You feel like coming up off camera? I guess if you feel like it, you let me know. No pressure. You could be off camera like me. We could pull cards together. Up to you.
Found it interesting. I mean, that's dated January 30th, which is what, one day before Nancy went missing. There was a survey done. I was reading the report, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the survey was done that day. It means that it was finished that day, and that's when they signed off on it. So what is, I don't even know what a survey map. I had to just do like a quick Google search. I kind of know what it is, but not, not really familiar with it. So I learned that a survey map is a precise technical drawing created by a licensed surveyor, and it shows exact boundaries, measurements, and physical features.
Now, I can tell you as a realtor, like I said, the fact that the survey was done just prior to Nancy's disappearance is interesting. Surveys aren't cheap. And normally, if you're remortgaging your home, about to sell your home, taking a loan out against your home, consolidating debts, you remortgage your home, those kind of things, you generally need a survey. Doesn't mean it's relevant, but it's a distinct possibility. So let's see what the cards say. Carolina, anybody else want to pull cards? Let's see what the cards say about why they surveyed their home just before Nancy went missing. Oh my gosh. You know what's going to come next, right? Something to do with paperwork. OMG. Hey, everybody, did you remember the card left the house? You do remember the card left at the house. Just when I think I'm going in one direction, I get more confused with this case. Welcome in, sweetie. Okay, hang on. Oh, my goodness. This is interesting. Did the deed recently? Yes. Yes, it did. Absolutely, sweetie. Go back, Franklo, and rewind if you want just a few minutes. Well, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But yes, was a realtor of 25 years, won international awards, and coached for Keller Williams International throughout the United States and Canada. In fact, most of my clients were American. And yes, you cannot change title without a legal reason and a legal authority, like changing title because somebody sold their home, or to freeze the home from being sold back to anybody else. So somebody in an authority has done this, and now this one flipped over. Poison drugs. So what is at an AG was at NG, it was APS adult protective. Yes, it was, right? Like I said, go check out the video tomorrow that's coming out tomorrow on Nancy Guthrie that I did. I find it extremely coincidental that this theme came out tomorrow. Unless I'm mistaking it for, I can't even remember the full reading, but it seems to me that I've even said this before. I can't remember when I had my little rant and I thought Savannah's message had a dual message to A. I believe I picked up on that then. And it's pretty profoundly evident tomorrow. Yes, you can pull cards. We'll join your stream in a bit. Okay, sweetie. So status of the deed. I'll fill you up when you get up here. Okay. Oh my goodness. So we're asking drugs, poison, which is not literal, obviously. Why the A&T team had a survey done on their home just before Nancy went missing. Let's rewind that and let's get the exact date. Can't remember exactly how many days before.
The survey map. I had to just do like a quick Google search. I kind of know what it is. Nancy went missing. There was a survey done. I was reading the report and it doesn't necessarily turn narrow home. I just found it interesting. I mean, that's dated January 30th, which is what, one day before Nancy went missing. There was a survey
One
done. I
day.
was reading the report and it doesn't necessarily mean that the survey was done that day. It means that it was finished that day. And that's when they signed off on it.
So, in my experience, I don't know what it's like now. And it depends on what you need the survey for. I'd say a week to 2 weeks to get a survey results.
So what is, I don't even know what a survey map. I had to just do like a quick Google
So
search.
let's
I kinda
fast
know what it
forward
is.
again.
Maybe the profits from that, maybe they had paid that off. It could have been a loan. It could have been
Mm-hmm.
a number of things. Maybe, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, one of them won the lottery. I don't know.
Yes.
But the bottom line.
Whoops. Hang on.
The content on this channel.
Wow. I went to answer your question. Now I got to find where I was. Hang on. The status of the deed is that for anybody just coming in, you can rewind it and you'll see here. The title right now is showing Nancy Guthrie's home she is no longer on title. It's been reverted back to her father on title. According to Anne, I don't know that that's her father from Voices from the Missing. That's what they believe who her father is. It's not in Nancy Guthrie's name. And it says right there in their findings, in their, I think they might be in, I don't know if they're in Geo Warehouse or land titles. But you can see that that house was purchased by the person's name currently on title in 1951. Well, we know Nancy Guthrie bought the home, I think, in the 1980s, 30 some years later. Yes. So I also said, let me know when you're ready for the link, honey. Here, well, I'll just put it in chat now. I also said at the beginning of this stream that in my members section is a video. And if you want, I'm happy to show it. There is a video. You're welcome, Kelly. Or is it Kelly? Kelly, yes. There is a video in my members only where I show an attorney at the beginning of this case when Nancy first was abducted, and she did a title search on Nancy Guthrie's home. I don't know, I want to say March maybe. And it clearly showed at the time of Nancy's disappearance that the house was in the trust of Nancy Guthrie, not Nancy Guthrie, in the trust of Nancy Guthrie. And that's a distinct difference that she talks about, and it's in my members only. So I can tell you without doubt, because I saw her show us the paperwork, and she's a current attorney, that has changed. Somehow somebody with authority has gone in and changed the title of Nancy Guthrie's home. I've just pulled cards on it, and I think logically I would agree with the Voices for the Missing, who just rewatched it, brought that to our, or yes, it was Voices for the Missing that brought us to our attention. I would agree with Todd's assessment that it's probably so they can't sell it. So they cannot sell it. Nobody has the authority right now. It's not in Savannah's name. It's not in the trust of Nancy Guthrie. It's not also in the estate of Nancy Guthrie. In order for it to be the estate of Nancy Guthrie, we have to prove Nancy Guthrie is no longer alive. So we don't have it in the state of Nancy Guthrie. We don't have it in the trust of Nancy Guthrie. It's not in Annie's name. It's not in Cameron's name. It's not in Savannah's name. Yeah. So right now, I'm asking one last question. I'm going to pull 2 more cards, and then we're going to go back to Juanita's video here. Nancy had a brother that had Down syndrome. He lived there, and she took care of him. He was named after her father, Junior, but I believe they've both passed, but not sure. Oh, Vicky, interesting. So, however, I just want to say one caveat to that. That's a very interesting point. And if it were not for the fact that Todd and Anne show us that it says right on the file there, the last time of purchase by this gentleman was 1951, I would agree with you that possibly that could be her brother. However, that's 33 years prior. I thought Nancy Guthrie bought the home in 1984. Am I wrong about that? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's what I thought. Well, this is it. This is very interesting. This is why I say, DD, that's why I'm saying this has to be coming from a court order, in my opinion, having been in real estate 25 years, having worked with my dad, who was a municipal attorney in land development and housing and everything else, that this is a court order. This is a judge. This is somebody that has said, nobody gets the house yet. We don't have an estate situation because we can't say she's deceased yet. And no worries, honey. Love you too. No worries. You thought it was her brother, possibly? It could be, but again, Nancy was born just around, how old is Nancy? Let's just go back. What year was Nancy Guthrie born? Google. (1942), January 27th, 1942. So when this house was purchased, Nancy would have been 9 years old. So how old would her brother have been? 6, 5, 9, 12. Not likely old enough to buy a home. So I think they're right. Okay, so let's get this. I want to go back and get back on track here. We are now asking why A&T had a survey done on their home, as somebody pointed out in the chat, a year after they purchased it, just before Nancy went missing. We got bloodline, family lineage, we got disposing of evidence, and we got drugs and poison. So do we have debts? We have debts that we're trying to hide. What's this? I want one more. Why are we having a survey done? Why are we having a survey done? Portal. I don't know. Listen, portal is not, in this case, I'm interpreting it more like gambling debts. Yeah. And I'm thinking of a portal as in like an application, like online portal, like an application. Do you want to come up now, honey? Are you ready to come up? It's up to you. Don't feel pressured. We can plan it for next week if you want. Secret. Let's get a few more clarifiers. Hope everybody's doing the thumbs up for me, please. Please show your support. Thumbs up. That'd be really appreciated. Aquarius Tarot has her channel too. Go support her as well, please. Okay, let's see. Why did they have a survey done? Knave of Swords. So somebody's analyzing drugs, secrets, debts, trying to not show proof to the family maybe that they're in debt, trying to hide their debts, disposing of the fact that they've got secrets of debts in the family. That 3 that fell over here or flipped over. That 9 of Cups, wish fulfilled, 6 of Cups, and 10 of Swords. Wow. Got a heavy burden. We got a heavy burden here. Very heavy burden. Somebody is reminiscing in childhood. They got their wish, so they may be refinanced. That's, like I said, from my real estate experience, you don't just pay for a survey for nothing. You know? Okay, let's move on. We're going to bring it. We need to back up because I want to get to more of this.
Question. What we're left asking is, where did that $295,000 come from? So I want to be careful, okay, you guys, because the fact that Nancy had substantial estimated equity in her home and the fact that A&T financed only part of their home doesn't mean that the two are connected. I have not seen any type of documentation showing that Nancy's equity funded A&T's home. I have not come across that at all. And that could have been, let's say that it was a loan, it could have been a private transaction. So that's not something, unless you're an investigator, that's not something we're going to be able to see anyway. Or it could have been just a verbal agreement. Hey, I'm going to let you use this, but make sure you pay me back. We still don't know. And without any type of record establishing that connection, right now it's just speculation. What I do feel is what I do feel that is worth noting is the financial picture that the property records give us, right? On one side, we have Nancy's home with a value of over $1 million in equity, $800,000 in lendable equity. On the other side, we have A&T's property purchase, $650,000 of a purchase price with a $355,000 mortgage, leaving us with $295,000 of that purchase price coming from a source not identified. Those are facts that we can discuss. Those are facts that are publicly available in any county. County has, all these property records and these different databases, but this is what I found for Pima County. So those are the facts, but we can't fill in the blanks ourselves as to knowing what exactly happened. So I guess the question is, like, what additional records would we need to put these puzzle pieces together? So I guess that, Monks, if you're watching, that kind of answers your question a little bit. But it also leaves us with more questions, right? It answers one, but we're left with more questions. And until we know all the facts in this case, we're really not going to know what happened. So I just want to tell you guys, if you've made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for sticking with me. Like, subscribe, share this content if you find it interesting. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Okay, let's pull up the next video. Very interested to get to this. Okay, wait a second. It's the same. I got the wrong one. Hang on. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen. So Juanita's the star of the night. We don't normally necessarily always cover the same reporter for the same night, but this just happened to be something I wanted to cover and I wanted to talk about in this case. So let's I want to just make sure here. She does 2 videos on this, and I want to just make sure. Wow, her page is set up weird. Hold on. Sorry. Her page is set up so weird. Let's watch. I want to just make sure this is not the second one. I think it's the first one.
And perspectives. It is intended for informational purposes only. I do not claim that my views are facts, and viewers are encouraged to do their own research and form their own opinions. Above it all, the goal is simple: to keep attention on the Nancy Guthrie case, to bring her home, and to bring justice to those who harmed her.
You guys, I recorded this podcast yesterday. I edited it, I exported it, and when I exported the podcast, the file was bad, so I stayed here kind of late, and then I had to go home, and I'm like, okay, let's try it again today. I feel that this episode is really important to talk about. There's a few things that I've kind of discovered, I guess. And I don't know, let me know what you think by the end of the podcast. Let's just say that I feel that the wording in that plea agreement is kind of suggesting that Derek Colella might be the writer of ransom note number 1. Now, the ransom note that I'm talking about is the one that was sent to KOLD. This is...
What did she just say? Have you all seen this? We're going to pull cards. She makes an incredible case for Derek Colella being the writer of the ransom note. Is what legal? Is what legal? Let's watch. Whoops.
The one that I can pinpoint down onto a timeline, which would be February 2nd in between the hours of 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. So this past week, I had the chance to talk to one of our legal experts. He is a criminal defense attorney in the area. So whenever we need help with a story or whenever we need, commentary on a case, even if it's not his case, he will talk to us. His name is Mark King, and we were talking about the plea agreement, and Mark told me that the wording in it is pretty standard, but he did say something really interesting during our interview. So I'm going to let you hear that now.
Yes, I do a lot more state cases than federal cases, but years ago when I did the kind of work you do, and I was covering trials as a television news reporter, I covered a lot more federal trials than I did state trials. And generally speaking, federal prosecutions are like aim, 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 fire. State prosecutions are generally like fire, 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 aim. So if the feds are charging you with something, odds are pretty good they know what they're talking about. That doesn't mean they don't arrest people who are innocent. I've had people cleared in federal court before, but typically, if they're coming after you, they probably have a lot of good evidence.
So what I took away from Mark's statement, aim, 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 fire, is that when there is a federal prosecution or a federal investigation, they gather up a lot of evidence before anything is done. The way that he explained it is in a state prosecution, it's like they try to move through the court system faster and then continue to investigate even after charges have been filed. That's how I understood it. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. How did you understand that statement? So on that note, let's talk about the plea agreement. Now, there was this really interesting conversation on the interview room on Wednesday. It was Chris McDonough, John Lamb, Josh Diaz from the lab, and then Dr. Bricado. The conversation was so good. There was so much information that I think I ended up going back and listening to it about 2 or 3 times. I wanted to kind of absorb everything that the guys were saying, but I'm not going to give away too much about that episode. I suggest if you haven't, go check it out. It's really interesting. But basically, the guys were talking about the plea agreement and the wording in the plea agreement and why some details were, included and other details were kind of left out, and nothing seems to make sense, right? Now, also during that episode, I did sense a little bit of confusion as far as the timelines go, understandably so, because this is a very complicated investigation. And like I said, we haven't been told a lot. So it seemed like the guys were kind of tripped up on, wait, when did this come out? When did the ransom note come out? When did Derek's text go to A&T? So I wanted to show this interview. It's Elizabeth Vargas on News Nation. She's talking to Mary Coleman. Now, if you guys remember, Mary is the anchor at KOLD in Tucson. So this interview aired on February 5th. But in the interview, Elizabeth asks Mary a question about when they got their ransom note. And this is what Mary said.
But the more we read and the more detail was given, including the amount and, again, those deadlines, that's what was really crucial. And as well as some of those details that the FBI revealed were in there, including, the Apple Watch and things like that others wouldn't know. That's when we,
Was there anything beside the Apple Watch and the floodlights? Because as you may know, if you've been listening in, our Brian Enton asked about this, and the FBI admitted they weren't sure when. First of all, do you remember exactly when the note came in?
We received the note Monday evening. That's when our newsroom received that note.
Monday night, Arizona time, you got the note.
So with that, I can say with certainty that ransom note 1, the one that came to KOLD, came in on Monday, February 2nd in between 5 and 6 p.m. So something else that was interesting in the interview room, I know I said I wasn't going to give away too much, and I'm not, I promise. I'll let you watch that episode. But one other thing that Chris McDonough was talking about was the IP address that's also included.
Sweetie, there's always a like button. You got to go to the home page. Every video has the same. There's a home page in every video, and there's a like button there. But thank you. I appreciate your thinking about that.
In the plea agreement. And the guys were asking, like, why is this information in regards to Nancy Guthrie and what time the family got there? Why is that included in this plea agreement or even the criminal complaint if they're separate? Derek is getting charged with harassment. This is a separate investigation. Why are they together in this plea agreement? And it's February 4th.
Did she just say? Did she just say Derek is getting charged with harassment? Did we not see that in the cards? Am I hallucinating?
At 6:02, the IP address was associated with Kalela's address in California. Chris said they may have trapped an IP address. For all we know, it may be one and the same. During the episode, though, I did notice one little detail that I'm like, wait a minute, what does that mean right there? And Chris has the plea agreement and he was showing it in the slide, but it was this little detail right here. On or about February 4th, 2026, shortly after the February 2nd, 2026 video was published, AG, the daughter of NG, and TC, AG's husband, each received a text message from the phone number. And then it states the number. We all know now that it was a VoIP number that Derek used to reach out to the family, stating, "Did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction." Kalela sent the messages to AG and TC from California while AG and TC were in Arizona. So I was like, wait, what February 2nd video? What February 2nd video is the FBI talking about? You guys know that I've been trying to nail down these timelines for a minute, my last few episodes, and it's been really hard. So wait, what February 2nd video? It's been so exhausting to try to figure out what happened when. And I know
Good afternoon, my dear. Nice to see you again.
That if they are talking about Savannah's Instagram video with her brother and sister on each side.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers.
I am certain that that video was published on February 4th. What video are the feds talking about in this plea agreement? So I went back and I looked at Savannah's Instagram again. And yeah, it's February 4th. And then I went back and I checked the original criminal complaint. And it says the following. On February 2nd, 2026, KOLD, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, Arizona, received a ransom demand via their online tip portal. The demand listed a Bitcoin wallet address to receive the ransom payment. On February 4th, Angie's family published a video.
Hang on. Did we not just see the portal card come out? Oh my God. On February 2nd, Cold CBS affiliate in Tucson received a ransom demand. She is making the case, in case you are not connecting the dots yet. I'm going to let you listen again, of course. However, she is making the case that by looking at the documentation, and let's not forget, Juanita is a professional reporter, looking at the dots between the plea deal and when this video actually became public knowledge are not connecting. So she's making the inference, and she's going to continue showing us that Kalela had to have inside knowledge of the ransom note, because in the court documentation against Kalela, they're citing the date 2 days before the world saw that video. What the TF?
Asking Angie's kidnappers to contact them about their mother. And then it kind of hit me. unless it was an error, because this is something I thought about, unless it's an error, which I highly doubt would be the case in such a high profile investigation and case and everybody's watching, that's not an error. What I realized, the video was published on February 4th, but I bet you the video was recorded on February 2nd. So why did the feds do that? I don't know. You have to ask them. I have no idea. But then I started thinking about Mark's comment, right? Aim, 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 fire. Now we know now, looking back, that on February 3rd, a lot of stuff started happening. I mean, not that the feds could predict the future, but I think they might have wanted to hold on to stuff and just gather more evidence, just like Mark said. So on February 3rd, there was a lot more activity. Do you guys remember? This is when TMZ announced that they also received a ransom note. KGUN also received a ransom note. So during that time, a lot more media were in Tucson. Maybe they had that information on February 2nd and they just didn't say. And during that time,
great point,
with the release of that February 4th video of Savannah and her brother and sister on Instagram, a lot of people started talking about the wording in her video.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
A lot of people were trying to understand why was that wording in there? And now if this theory is correct, the FBI likely helped Savannah write that note to the alleged kidnappers. So I wanted to kind of get an understanding of why that line, talk to her and you'll see, was also said during that time. So I did go on to the FBI's website and I found a history tab on there, and they're talking about all these different artifacts and stuff that they have, and they happen to mention the Silence of the Lambs. So what I learned is that during the making of the film, the FBI worked with filmmakers to help make the investigative and the behavioral aspects as realistic as possible. And some of the techniques and dialogues were influenced by real FBI practices. So the language used in the video reflected wording that's commonly used in FBI-guided kidnapping negotiations. So today we live in a digital world. You know, everything we can look up, it's at our fingertips. We can go back and compare notes and check. And because The Silence of the Lambs has remained such a classic and a very popular movie, I can guarantee maybe somebody said, hey, wait a minute, that line is from The Silence of the Lambs. But if the FBI did kind of take a page out of their template negotiations language, it's pretty fascinating to see that in real time being applied in a real investigation right before our eyes. So let me tell you guys a little story before I close, and I promise this will all make sense. When my daughter was a child, I used to tell her, you know, you should really be an attorney. She had a kind of a way with words. She was very slick. She knew how to be ambiguous and vague and not give herself away. She was, and still is, very smart. So one time I remember I needed the password for something. And let's say, for example, the password.
I'm not sure what you're referencing. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I don't know what you're referring to. About looking it up online, what's legal, I don't know.
Word is ABC123. That's not the real password. I would never say that. So I needed the password and I said, hey, what is the password to this? And my daughter said to me, it's ABC123. Now I don't remember if she wanted to give it to me or not, but she said it's ABC123. And I remember I tried it over and over and it was not working. It was not working. ABC123. And I went back, hey, what is, are you sure? Yeah, Mom, I'm sure that's the password. After a few attempts, I remember I looked at it again and it was actually capital A, lowercase b, capital C, 123. So what did I learn from that? That she wasn't technically lying. She was just letting me assume the wrong thing. And then I knew then, okay, my daughter has the power of ambiguity. But you guys know who else has the power of ambiguity? Is the FBI. So in closing, let's consider this theory. What if on the evening of February 2nd, when KOLD received that email through its tip line website between the hours of 5 and 6 p.m., what if the FBI immediately traced it and it led them to Derek Colella in Hawthorne? What if investigators chose not to say anything to the family or anybody? Because we all know law enforcement's not required to disclose any information during an active investigation, especially not the FBI. We all know that, right? They haven't been talking. They've put out a few statements. That's about it. But what if the FBI advised the family to record the Instagram video on the night of February 2nd, but told them not to release it until the appropriate time, which we now know is February 4th? We know that the family knew about the ransom note the same night that KOLD received it. How do we know that? Remember, in one of my earlier episodes, we heard a report from CBS that stated that Nanos told the family about it the same night. We now know that night is February 2nd in the evening. So let's consider this. What if the FBI knew Derek Colella had a connection to A&T and specifically asked the siblings to appear together in the video? If that's the case, it could explain why one of the siblings appeared so reserved and maybe a little stoic. Maybe their role in the video was an intentional investigative strategy by the FBI. You guys, the FBI, they're masters of ambiguity, vagueness. We're not talking.
Kind of like what I said when I said way back when, go check out my video, was Savannah asked, because I heard the words land in my ears like one of my guides dropped it in there so eloquently. When Savannah and Annie and Tommaso walked down the laneway together, ignored the media, Bryant and televising them, and stood in front of Nancy Guthrie's memorial, I heard the words, "Walk with me." And I said very specifically, in my opinion, from the psychic kit that I got, the FBI specifically asked Savannah to do that so they could compare his walk to the kidnapper's walk up the front steps. And all you need to do is go look at Monk's intrigue, because boy, oh boy, did he land that video. And I think Juanita is right, likely. But when she's done in a minute here, we're going to pull cards and see. Is Colella really connected to this ransom note?
We know that. And they are the masters of semantics, semantic ambiguity. How many times have they used language that has more than one interpretation? They allow us, the listener, to assume the wrong interpretation, but they technically give us the truth. They're just allowing us to assume the wrong interpretation. They leave out the most important key points that we need in order to interpret it correctly. So, what if this plea agreement is not the whole story? What if it's just one part of a chapter in a bigger novel? And we've only been given maybe 2 pages of this huge novel, and maybe that's why we are so confused and have been confused. If these theories have some truth to them, Derek Colella is most likely the author of that ransom note that came in to KOLD on Monday, February 2nd, between the hours of 5 and 6. It would also explain why a lot of this information is missing, yet there's the IP address. And it would also explain why he was able to get a very sweet deal in all of this. Okay, I think that's enough for today.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Derek Collella's involvement. And so I've been saying it. Not that he wrote the letter, but what are the odds that he has a plea deal that nobody's allowed to see? Nobody's allowed to see. It's been sealed. What are the odds he has a plea deal sealed? And he just happens to text the A&T team and call one of them? Sure does. Sure does. Are you all blown away? See what the cards say. Derek Collella's involvement in the Nancy Guthrie case. Faked death, new life. Wow. Gotta love the cards. Faked death, new life. That's the video I did about have we found motive. Did they figure out the game? Did they figure out the game? The game was to make it look, in my opinion, like Nancy, and probably still true to this day, and regrettably is not alive. But the whole intent was that fiasco on tape was planted deliberately so we would know there was no shadow of a doubt that Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped out of her home. What did the second purpose of letter, what it was the letter, purpose rather of letter 2? Your mother, hello, Savannah. Your mother, Nancy, basically is dead, right? Ransom note number 2, in my opinion, was intended to serve the purpose to expedite the 5 years it takes to declare someone deceased in the state of Arizona. We looked it up, we covered it. Go check that video out. It's called What Did We Find Motive? Now think about it. The fake guy at the front door that looks to be carrying like a fake gun, a fake holster, a fake what? Tries to hang plants in front of a freaking camera. It's all bullshit. Bullshit diversions. Just my opinion. So that as we researched in that video, a judge, when and if asked to declare Nancy Guthrie dead, deceased, would need to show proof that she was no longer alive. Well, you have the video of the kidnapper, you got the blood on the front step, and now you have a ransom note from said kidnapper saying she's dead. Then you go to the court and you apply to have that Nancy Guthrie declared deceased despite the fact there's no body. And you ask for the court to expedite that time frame, and your purpose is to expedite that time frame so you can get access to Nancy's estate, i.e. home, and the equity in it by not having to wait 5 years, because surely, Your Honor, at this point, Nancy Guthrie is not coming home. Now, I submitted that theory to the FBI not once, not twice, 3 times, boys and girls. And I showed you that I submitted that to the FBI multiple times. Do you think the FBI now, maybe even before me, probably long before my analysis was sent, although my first report went in February 24th, do you think the FBI, given everything we've just seen, now may have the number down on the game, therefore why we don't see Nancy Guthrie's home in the name of her trust anymore, and why somebody with power reverted that back to her father's name? What do y'all think? Let's see. Colella. Derek Colella, is he associated to this case? Yes or no? Not to the benefit of my ego. Well, all I think about is ashes. That letter, we stand on scorched earth. We stand on scorched earth. The crown, the authorities know this is a faked death. Well, not really, but that was the intent. So we could get a new life. Let's get some clarifiers. Derek Colella, yes or no, not to the benefit of my ego. Involved in the Nancy Guthrie ransom note number 1, yes or no? Self-interest, teamwork. Wow. God, my head is spinning. I don't know who wants to come in here. I'm going to have to stop because I got my spiritual team here. So we had teamwork, but somebody else was also looking at their own self-interest. So somebody was backstabbing someone in the team. That's how I read it. Someone in the team had self-interests. Would that be letter 2? Would that be letter 2, Your Honor? Would that be letter 2, Your Honor? We need access to the estate. We need to show that she was killed by the kidnappers with that blood on that front porch. And that letter, ransom letter number 2 that came in, Your Honor, that one said she was dead. Remember that, Your Honor? Just saying. Derek Colella's involvement with the case. 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Swords. Someone thinks they can't get out. Someone's working really hard to get out of a situation they don't think they can get out of. Knight of Wands. Somebody's inspired to try to get out of a situation they don't think they can get out of. Wow. Let's get some clarifiers. Somebody's inspired, stressed out, trying to get out of a situation they don't think they can get out of. Somebody's ego's at play. Somebody's ego's at play. There we go. Work. We got work. We got 8 of Pentacles. Somebody's working overtime here. Somebody is working overtime in their own head. Like our travel card was there. Plot twist. Plot twist. Bottom of the deck. Witness. What do y'all think? Son's back in school. So is she hiding out in Tucson? No idea, sweetie. Almost too transparent. Cheryl says exactly. Maria's got a thumbs up. Thank you, everybody. Hope you thumbed up the video for me, please. They thought about every detail. It took a while to plan for sure. Seems perfect to me for protecting Miss Nancy's assets. Yes, they can absolutely revert. Absolutely. That was the whole purpose of the note to declare. That's just my opinion. You agree? Yeah, that's my opinion. Thank you, honey. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? It's been a long day. We've been following Nancy Guthrie, Eye Opener. There is another video, part 2 to the Colella. It's 8. Your mind is blown. I'm glad. There is a part 2. Do you guys have the energy for another 18 minutes? Part 2. 18 minutes, actually 17 minutes and 14 seconds. Are we tired? Do you want to listen to part 2? Crap just coming in. Just coming back to them too. Can't wait till this is over. Okay, let's go watch part 2. She's an amazing, amazing, amazing reporter. Go support to her channel, please. Here we are, part 2.
Tech questions that I had in regards to both of these legal documents. He didn't answer the questions about the legal documents themselves. He answered some tech questions.
Not me. Thanks to Juanita, honey.
The IP address. The other person that I talked to this week was Dave Mugridge. He is a criminal defense attorney. So do you guys remember last week I talked to Mark King? This week I wanted to kind of pick somebody different and see if, just get a different perspective, basically. So I'm still going back and referring to that episode from the interview room where they're going over that plea agreement. There was something really interesting that Chris McDonough said. There was a lot of interesting things that the guy said, but Chris said, every word the U.S. attorney picks is on purpose. And now that I've been going over these forms a lot more and really dissecting them, I'm starting to understand exactly what Chris meant. So I'm going to take you guys through some of these words, some of these phrases, and see if maybe we can kind of make sense of it. So I've covered federal and state cases. We've had to go over these types of documents, criminal complaints, affidavits. We've had to go over everything. And there's been some cases that we've covered have, the criminal complaint or affidavit, they can be called both, are pages and pages long. And this is where you have to pick up all that information from the case and make sense of it so we can report it back to the public, right? So I have picked out information from Derek Kalela's criminal complaint or affidavit, as well as his plea agreement. A lot of the information overlaps and it's pretty much the same. There is just a few, maybe a little bit more detail in one than the other. I think in the plea agreement, it has a little bit more information. I'm guessing that by this point, they already had investigated a lot more. So there were more details to add, right? So we're going to start off here, okay? So let's start with the criminal complaint. Let's focus on this part that I highlighted. On February 2nd, 2026, KOLD, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, Arizona, received a ransom demand via their online portal. There it is written in the criminal complaint. And here it is written in the plea agreement. Basically the same statement. So because I am a visual learner, I decided to make a graphic. So that is one finding, right? The KOLD ransom note was received through their online portal on February 2nd. Easy enough, right? All right, let's move on. So on this next part, I want to focus on this line up here that I've highlighted, on or about February 4th, 2026. And then, of course, we all know shortly after the video was published, AC and TC, the daughter and son-in-law of NG, both separately received a text message from the following number. And then they give us the number and it ends in 0552, stating, of course, we all know, did you get the Bitcoin? We're waiting on our end for the transaction. AC and TC received these texts while in Arizona. So I want to pay close attention to that 0552 number. That's what I've highlighted. That is kind of an important detail in all of this. So there it is in the criminal complaint. And then, of course, in the plea agreement. That's the same graphic I used last week.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
So that's why that bottom part is highlighted in pink. But I want to focus on the top part, on or about February 4th, 2026. So here is the graphic I made for that. So are we kind of following along? Okay, so here are both. These are both findings, separate entities. They're both separate, right? This is how I'm kind of picturing it. So the KOLD ransom note online portal came in on February 2nd. That's one finding. The text to A and T from that 0552 VoIP number came in on or about February 4th. We good? All right, let's move on. So now I want to focus on this part right here. Law enforcement was able to determine through open source methods that the 0552 number was associated with the Voice over Internet Protocol, VoIP, text and call application. And then it goes on to describe what that is. And then at the bottom, it says The records also indicated that the 0552 number had been accessed from the following IP address. And then it gives the IP address ending in 103 at approximately 6:02 p.m. on February 4th. And the 103 IP address was associated with Kalela's residence in California. Okay, so here it is again, that same information in the plea agreement. So what we can take away from that statement is that, so here's the KOLD ransom note online portal over here. Here on the right, we have the text to A&T from the 0552 VoIP number on or about February 4th. So law enforcement was able to determine that that 0552 was a VoIP number. From that, they were able to also track the IP address, which ended in 103. From that, they were able to trace that back to Derek Kalela's home in California. So all these things on the right, this one thing on the left. Okay, now comes the tricky part, okay? This is kind of where my questions started coming up. Everything made sense to me the way I was reading it up until this point. So here it is in the criminal complaint. The 0552 number was registered to the following email address, derekkalela@gmail.com.
What?
The records also indicated that the 0552 number had been accessed from the following IP address, and that's that same 103 IP address at approximately 6:02 on February 4th.
Thank you, honey.
And then from there, of course, we have
No
all
worries,
the other
honey.
connections. Law enforcement submitted an emergency disclosure to request the internet provider for the 103 IP address, and that determined to lead back to where Kalela's residence in California. And here it is again. So I highlighted it in yellow and in green. Same information in the plea agreement. And now here is our graph again. So now we can connect Derek Kalela's Gmail to that 0552 VoIP number. So they tell us that 0552 number is connected to his Gmail account, derekkalela@gmail.com. So I created that middle graphic right there, the 0552. I made it half yellow and half red. Why did I do that? Because I could not find anywhere in those documents that derekkalela@gmail.com was connected to anything other than that 0552 VoIP number. So it's connected here, but it's not telling us that it's connected here. So when I first read these forms, I automatically assumed that derekkalela@gmail.com was connected to that IP address, right? Because we think of one, we think of the other. Anytime I think or I see a email account in the same paragraph as an IP address, because we know that those are always closely related, my brain was like, oh, they go together. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and look through these documents and see if I can find where it says that that email address is connected to that IP address.
When I was asking about the format, I mean, this is Juanita's amazing work, as it was the Voices for the Missing. So I'm giving them the main credit for this. But what I'm referring to is, do you like the format of me showing a video and then pulling cards as a live format to that video to see what the cards say?
Could not find it anywhere. So we do know that the court documents do tell us that Derek used that Gmail account to create that VoIP number. So that, I mean, VoIP is like Google Voice, right? So he used his Gmail account to create that fake VoIP number. And I'm like, okay, well,
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Why is his email not connected to the IP address? So then my question became, is it possible for that email address, derekkalela@gmail.com, to have a different IP address than the 0552 number, even though he created the 0552 number with that email address? So that's where
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
came in, the CEO of helpdesk.tech. So I asked Jay a question. I sent him a text message this past week to see if it was possible. And I wanted to word the question in a way that was not confusing to anybody. It was confusing to me.
Jules.
The question kind of coming forward in my brain was confusing enough to wrap my head around it. So I was like trying to make it as, I don't know. So I said, hey, Jay, I have a question. Let's say a VoIP number and a physical home address is connected to an IP address. Is it possible for the email used to register said VoIP number to have a different IP address? Jay's response was yes. And matter of fact, it's pretty normal. Even devices in the same home may appear under the same public IP while connected to Wi-Fi, but switch to a different IP when using cellular service, a VPN, another location, or a different internet provider. So the answer to my question was yes, it is possible. Even though Derek Kalela used his Gmail account to create that VoIP number, his Gmail account could have a different IP address
Thank
other
you,
than that
everybody.
103 IP address. If maybe he wasn't home or he used a different device.
Jules, I would suggest, honey, glad to have you back, but when we're done here in a minute, if you're not coming into members live or later, I would go back and watch, because this is mind-blowing information.
Or he was at a different location or under a different internet provider. He could have created that email a long time ago and then moved locations and then registered that VoIP number. So that's just kind of something to think about. Because after I kind of went through all that, then I started wondering, well, wait a minute. Why are they giving us the IP address for the 0552 VoIP number? And we know all of that on the right-hand side is connected, right? Why are they giving us all that? But then on the left, why are they not giving us derekkalela@gmail.com, that IP address? Why are they not giving us the KOLD ransom note online portal IP address? Just some questions to think about. All right, let's move on. Now I want to talk about the verbiage. So I want to focus on that phrase, on or about February 4th. And as you can see, it's written here in the first criminal complaint, in the affidavit, and then it's written again in the plea agreement, on or about February 4th, on or about February 4th. I was kind of curious as to why on or about was used with February 4th, but not February 2nd. Why on the February 2nd sentence, it only has on February 2nd, but on or about February 4th. So what's the difference? And for that question, I talked to Dave Mugridge. He is the criminal defense attorney that I mentioned at the beginning. I called Dave sometime this past week and we had a conversation about it and I recorded our conversation. So I'm going to let you hear his answer to what on or about means.
Well, on or about is used in legal pleadings when you don't want to say absolutely for sure that the incident occurred at 12:15 and 32 seconds on April the 3rd, 1995. Now, if you are absolutely certain of the date, you can do that. But if you aren't and you're filing a document under penalty of perjury, you have to cover your bases, so to speak. You have to say, well, I'm not really sure exactly when it was that this happened, but on or about this day, on or about this time, we think that this happened. That way, if it later comes out that that wasn't the exact day and that wasn't the exact time, they can't go back at you and prosecute you or sue you because you said under penalty of perjury, hey, it happened at 12:17 on Thursday the 4th, 1995. And if you're not really sure of that, you get around that by using language that says kind of, as close as we can figure out on or about this day and this time, this incident happened.
Would it be like 2 days before, 2 days after, or is there a limit on how many days prior and how many days after?
You're talking about legal speak now. The answer to that is not generally. It is considered whatever is reasonable amount of time. So if I say on or about April the 3rd at 4:15 of 2001, this happened. And then it comes out that it not only wasn't on or about April, but it was June, 5 years before that. That really stretches the concept of it's within a reasonable period of time. So the answer to that question is whatever people would generally agree is a reasonable amount of time that it could be seen that this is in that window of a reasonable amount of time. Now, does that mean within 5 minutes? Does that mean within 30 seconds? That's fact-driven analysis. And so it really depends on the facts and circumstances of the case.
So wait, Dave Mugridge, are you telling me that on or about February 4th could mean a few days before or after? I mean, we know it wasn't after because he was caught already by February 5th, right? But wait, are you telling me that it could have been before? That's very interesting and that's very telling, right? Because it wasn't on February 4th, it was on or about February 4th. It could have been February 2nd, maybe February 3rd. All right, that's enough. I think my brain is just fried.
What do y'all think? Crazy video. We've got 8 minutes until we're going into our members live. I'm going to put here, this here is the cell phone link for members. And then for anybody on a laptop, let me pull that up. Juanita's amazing. Please go subscribe if you haven't already to her channel. And this is our members live. Hello, Alicia, my dear. Hello, my dear. We are just wrapping up. This is for anybody on a laptop or TV. Link. Anybody have any questions? You want me to pull any more cards? We got a couple of minutes, and then I'm moving on to members only at 7:30. Anybody in the members here joining? Can't see your cards very well. Sorry about that. Time will tell. Not sure. It's kind of getting dark in here. I don't have the super best lighting. Is that better? In my house. So everybody, I'm going to head over to members live. If you enjoyed this format, thank you. Please do all the likies. There's 2 streams running. One of them has 500 of you. You're coming, honey? Okay, good. What are we doing tonight, Chris? What are we doing tonight? Are we doing Lindsay Clancy, Nancy Guthrie, Nolan Wells? Check out my video tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Nancy Guthrie, 4:44 p.m. I have to see if your membership renewed. It's renewed, sweetie. You can see from your green button there that it's valid. We're going to do all the things. I guess you did your green. Also, Jiggles, who's in the chat here, donated some memberships during our Lindsay Clancy live. She bought memberships that were gifted. You're welcome, sweetie. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, everybody. I also wanted to know if you enjoyed this format, because if you enjoyed this format, then that's what I want to keep bringing you Monday nights. So thank you for everybody that is here. And I'll see you all in the members live for those that are joining. I'm supposed to be able to just switch this into members live according to my YouTube coach. I will attempt that next week. I'm not feeling super brave right now. After all the technology issues I've had lately, I'm not feeling brave enough yet for that. I will attempt that next week. Okay, everybody, I truly appreciate you being here. Check out the video tomorrow. I have another one going out later in the week on Sebastian I'm going to do. I probably will talk about Sebastian Rogers next Monday night. Next Monday night, I really want to start bringing it in Sebastian Rogers again. So we'll see if we can do that, unless there's something incredible going on with Nancy Guthrie. How many people here out of the 500, 600 of you interested in just Nancy Guthrie? Before you leave, please let me know what other cases you're interested in. Lindsay Clancy, Nolan Wells, other than Nancy Guthrie. I know, honey. Other than Nancy Guthrie, Sebastian Rogers, Jacqueline Lilly. Anything else come into mind for anybody before we go? Let me know, please. Have a great night. Wild stuff, eh? Wild stuff. Deborah, thank you for becoming a member. Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Just Miss Nancy, says Gail. Thank you for becoming a mat. Kitty, oh, Kitty, sweetie, I know you want Sebastian and only Sebastian. All of it. Oh, are you covering Brooke Hanlon? Oh, by the way, Aquarius, please go sub up to Aquarius Tarot Paranormal's channel if you haven't done so already, everybody, as well. All of it. Brooke Hanlon, I haven't covered that. Good night, Constance. I have not covered that case. I want to. I haven't done my session, your session yet. Okay. Oh, interesting. Got it. Okay. Interesting. Okay, everybody. We'll see some of you over in, here's the live for members only, where we're going to remote view. It's going to be really relaxing. It'll help you sleep. Okay, everybody. We'll see you there. Definitely interested in Nancy Guthrie. Okay, Gloria, honey. So we'll probably continue to do Nancy Guthrie because that's what I'm getting the most of. Everybody have a wonderful night. Time warp. See you there. No kidding, eh, Chris? Next week, hopefully, we'll just be able to pop you in there and you won't have to do any clicky views. Okay, everybody. Again, love and light. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for making this a safe, fun space. You love Nancy stuff too. You're also interested in others. Okay, Jean. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you. I truly appreciate you all. I really, really appreciate you all for being here and hanging out with me. And we will see you next Monday night. And if you want to follow Lindsay Clancy with us, that is a very crazy ride. Starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. That's a crazy ride. See y'all in the members. Love and light.